I've already recorded my video creating this card, but I forgot to tell you the products that I was using, so this is after the fact. The Peking Bunny and Bunny Butt. I'm using the bunny butt and the cottontail and the little feet, but if you want, you could use the Peking Bunny where he shows his face and there's little paws that layer on and little nose and eyelashes or eyes and cheeks that all layer on the bunny face and ears that layer on to the ears. So I'm going to use the bunny butt, cottontail, and the feet. Then we're going to use the Crafter's Essential Easter, and I'm using the butterfly silhouettes and the basket. And I'm going to show you how we do some ink blending to create detail on this basket, and I really like the way that it comes out. There also in the set is a bow. This is a 3-dimensional layered bow, a chick silhouette, a cracked egg, 2 pieces to a cracked egg, another bunny silhouette, and a grassy hillside, which is really cute. I can't wait to use that. But let's see, 2 more products. Cloud borders and stitched hills. I'm using 2 of the hills and the cloud borders. So let's get started. Hi friends, Shannon here, creative crew member with Katscrappiness, here to share with you our new mini detail blending brushes. I'm going to show you how I put add detail to the bunny's tail, how I ink blend and create all of the detail on this Easter basket, and also how I do the detail with the ink blending on the butterflies. So let me clean this up and we'll get started. So the mini detail blending brushes come with 3 in a package, and there's a small, a medium, and a larger bristle tip. And also they're angled, so that helps do the detailed ink blending that I'm going to show you on these die cuts. I'm going to start with some light pink distress ink. It's called Tattered Rose. And I'm going to cover these I should have made sure my brush is clean. Okay, my brush is clean. I just wiped it off on a microfiber cloth. Ink that up, and I'm just going to cover the entire butterfly with the pink ink. I want the light pink to be my background. And then I'll show you how I do the little detail of the darker red ink on the butterfly's wings. And this is from the Bling and Blending release. Bling and Brushes release. I can't remember the name of the release. But I did do a video on the Katscrappiness channel sharing all of the new bling that we have for this release. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can check out all of the new shaker bits and sparkly bits, etc., etc. Okay, now I'm going to take the dark red ink. I'm going to ink up my brush, and I like to swirl it one way and then the opposite direction so it gets ink on all sides of the bristles. Tap that off on the lid of the brush, and with the short end of, there's the angle here, I'm going to start with the short end on the butterfly. Let's see if we can get this. And I'm just going to go around and circle to create little angled, curved portion on the wings. I'll do the same thing on the larger butterfly. It'd probably be easier to see. Starting with the short side of the blending brush touching the butterfly, and swirl that around both directions. And that just creates a little rounded shape onto the butterfly wings. Let me scooch this around, and we'll do the opposite side. Oh, I forgot to tap it off. That's okay, it's not too heavy. And then the smaller butterfly. There we go. And I'm going to clean my brush off. Like I said, I just take a microfiber towel and swirl my bristles around on the towel to get the excess of ink off. So I can go back to the lighter colored ink and blend that all together. So ink up my blending brush again, Tap that off. I am going to move my butterflies away from the dark red ink so I don't pull that up onto the butterfly. Okay. And then blend that in. Just go over the wing. Ink it up again. Tap, tap. Blend the wing. And what I'll do after I ink blend the butterflies is I will use a black multi-liner pen and create the body to give it the black color to the body, and some white, a white acrylic paint pen, and do some white dots. There we go. So there are our butterflies. Now with some medium and dark brown ink, I'm using Distress ink in Gathered Twigs and Ground Espresso. We're going to add the detail to the basket. Now the basket has some embossed detail that comes right around the basket here. And I'm going to bring that out with my ink blending, in addition to showing some detail on the handle and the bottom. And the trick to that is anywhere that there's like an indentation like there is here at the bottom, we're going to bring that out with the dark shading of the ink. Same with the indentations on the handle. I'll show you the completed. This is an example of a completed basket, and I'm going to bring that out using the detail blending brushes by blending dark ink and the medium ink over it. And we'll leave a little highlight in the front of the basket and around the bottom here, and we'll do some detail blending around this embossed trim. So I'm going to explain how I do this, and then I'm going to let you listen to some music while I complete the basket. So I've inked up my blending brush with a medium ink, the Gathered Twigs. Tap that off, and then with the long end, or the highest part of the blending brush, I'm going to bring that right to where that indents there, and off the paper I'm going to set the brush down, and then I'm going to flick it inward, and that creates a nice detail line. It's also grabbing right along the edges of the cardstock, so it creates a nice little shadow. And ink up the tip again and come over on the other side, and starting off of the paper and then dragging it on. The only difficult thing in doing this is keeping a straight line. So just dragging that, try to get those two to meet. It doesn't have to be as dark in the center where they meet, but I do want those two lines to touch. So add some more ink. And we're going to come over that with darker ink too, so it's okay if this side looks a little sloppy, I guess, is for lack of a better term. And we're going to do the same thing with the indentations around the handle. Starting from one of the indentations here and coming across to the other, I'm going to go back and forth, starting off the paper, pulling it on right where the indentation is, and have it end at the opposite side where the indentation is on that side, and then going back. So back and forth to create my little line. And this one, I want it to be bold because this is the medium color, so it's going to be not as dominant as the other color. So it's going to be, for lack of a better term, underneath color. So just back and forth. Create that darkness. And don't judge it at first blending. Wait until your project is complete. And even when the project is complete, after you've done all of your ink blending and you've finished up, you want to allow the ink to, because it's dye ink, you want to allow the ink to absorb into the paper before you actually judge the success of your project, I guess. So just doing that on all of those little spots that have indentations on the handle. And I'm not pushing down hard. I'm just allowing the brush to touch the grip mat, and then to until I see the bristles kind of move after it touches. You don't want to push all the way down. You want it to be kind of light pressure, I guess is the best way to explain that. You don't want to push it all the way down. The lighter pressure you use, the sharper the detail will be. And I'll show you that with the smaller detail brush. Right now I'm using the large detail brush. I'll show you with the smaller detail brush how narrow of a line that we'll get from that. Okay, so now we're going to add some detail here. Just coming and putting the heavier ink towards the inside of the basket. Still using that raised portion of the angled brush, or the highest point of the angled brush. Okay. And now I'm going to ink up the entire brush, and we are going to come from the outside, and I'm starting with the short end of the angle. I'm going to put the brush down on the outside of the basket and pull it across, and the heavy ink will be right towards the edge, and the lighter ink will be further along the basket. And we can bring some ink over that detailed embossed area, or embossed detailed area, and we can do the same thing on the opposite side. Off the paper, onto the paper. The heavier ink will be, oh, I got a puppy hair, at the edges, and this will just give our basket more dimension, kind of give it that circular shape by showing the sides that are darker. And then after, I'm going to just take, after I've used up a lot of that ink on the brush, I'm going to just blend over the white areas. Ink up my brush again, tap that off. Use some of that ink on the side. And now I'll let you listen to some music while I complete this ink blending. What I'm going to do is I've inked up my brush, and I'm going to use the point of the detail to go on the bottom portion, the top portion, and the sides of each of the little wonky squares, I don't know how else to describe them, that make up the braid on the side of the basket. with some Lost Shadow Distress ink. This is a very, very light gray ink. We're going to create the detail on the cottontail for my bunny using the medium angled mini blending brush. Ink up my blending brush and tap off on the lid. Then with the longest point of the angle, we're going to start off the paper on the grip mat and pull in, and each of those scallops or the little indentations on the tail. And this is some very light ink, so I'll have to ink up often. Just pulling that in, creating a little bit more detail on our cottontail. It just makes it look a little more fluffy. So I forgot to hit the record button. I put together some of the card. Let me explain to you what I've done. The background C I created with the stitched hillsides and the stitched cloud bordered eyes. I glued down my butterflies. I added some crinkly decorative shreds. They're like for basket filling or gift bags. I had a heck of a time, and I think that's why I forgot to push record, is because I was fussing with these, trying to get them to stick, so I finally taped them down to the back of the basket, but there was so much bulk from these shreds that I had to pop them up on foam with foam tape to get it to even out. So what I'm going to do is share with you the snarky part of my card. This is from the Easter Fun stamp and die set. There's coordinating dies, speech bubbles, and some of the sentiments have, let's see, this one, why did the Easter egg hide? He was a little chicken. You can cut these sentiments out with the sentiment dies. The rest of them are speech bubbles. Very snarky. This one says, does this make me look fat? Here's the bunny with, somebody took a bite out of the bunny butt, and it says, my butt hurts. And this one has a bite out of his ears, and it says, what? I love that. It's so cute. Here's one that says, oh my God, Pete, is that you? And it's an egg on the ground, which is very sad. But I'm going to use this guy here. It says, hand over the eggs and nobody gets hurt. And he's got a little slingshot right there. And I've already gone ahead and colored him. I've die cut them out. I'm going to add them to my project here. And what I did when I glued down the stitched hills was I didn't glue down the hill all the way right here so that I can tuck him in right there, because, you know, his legs are kind of missing there. So we're going to tuck him in. Go on. There you go. And glue down our other bunny here. And then here's our sentiment. It says, hand over the eggs and nobody gets hurt. I'll put a little bit of glue on here. There we go. And this is my card for today. All of the products that I use are linked down below. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy our content. You can subscribe to the Cat Scrappiness newsletter. The link is in the description box below. And subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so that you will receive notifications every time we post new content, show you how we use our new products and existing products. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.